Put simply, Q is a saved look. Make something beautiful on stage, save it to your light board. But here we might want to think about it a little bit more technically. So where a channel is a number that stores various properties about a light, so intensity, color, focus, etc. A Q is a number that stores information about all the properties for all the channels. It's a snapshot of all the numbers in front of you at this very moment, meaning whatever changes and alterations you've made, those are going to be saved. Technically, there are two ways to do Qs. The first is called Q-only mode. This is how you probably think of Qs. The light board is filled with a series of static looks, and when I say go to Q4, I know exactly what I'm going to see. This is fantastic for theater, event spaces, churches, etc., and a much better option for young designers. The second is called tracking mode. This is how live performances such as concerts function. A Q is instead a list of changes rather than an entire look. In tracking mode, if you didn't tell a channel to change, it just keeps doing what it was already doing. This is really great for making changes on the fly, and this is how a lighting designer for a band can be so quick. It's also fraught for making mistakes and unintentional adjustments. But for a seasoned lighting designer, the time saved by using tracking mode far outweighs the time spent fixing my oopses. We are going to be using Q-only mode because I think it's a lot easier to wrap your mind around a single static look at a time. Tracking mode takes a robust understanding of your fixtures and a really good awareness of where you've been in your cues and where you're going in your cues. So in order to not break your brain, I've already set the correct mode, Q only, in your worksheet files. Thank you very much. All right, let's get going. So in your worksheet file, we're going to create a couple of cues, Q1 and then Q2. So let's start. I'm going to start by saying 4 at 90. So we're going to take channel 4 to 90. So 4, A4 at 9, oops, that's a 3, 9, 0, and enter. I'm going to take channel 6 to 50. So I'm going to type on my keyboard 6, A for at, 5, 0, enter. So now I've got a lovely look right here. You can see that we've got two channels captured. I know that because they're in red. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press the record button right here. Record, Q1, enter. You'll notice a couple of things. Number one, down here in the command line, that we see a little yellow diamond. That means that the command you just entered has been submitted, committed, executed, and it's waiting for a new command. You'll also notice that instead of just saying live, it now says live Q1, meaning this is the queue that we're actually currently in. If you look a little bit higher, you'll notice that your channel colors have also changed to blue. This means that they are no longer being controlled by the light board, like manually, like this is no longer what you're told to do. They're being controlled by a queue. We'll talk a little bit about colors in a little bit, but it's really important to know what the colors mean so that you know kind of what's happening on your light board. All right, let's make another cue. So let's take channel 4. So I'm going to type 4, and let's take it to 50. So A for at, 5, 0, enter. You notice that it's now red, and our light went down in intensity. Now let's do a new light. So I'm going to take channel 5 at 50. So 5A, 5, 0, enter. So we've got two lights on. So now I'm going to say R for record, and this time I'm just going to press the number 2. And you can see that we already just kind of assumed that it's a queue, so you can record different things like groups, palettes, but most of the time we're recording queues, so EOS just assumes that you mean queue if you don't tell it otherwise. So R2, and I'm going to press enter. Okay, now I'm going to just get ready for another queue. I'm going to type 7 at 50, enter. This is going to allow us to see the difference in colors. So if we look up here, see a couple different channels. So first color is purple, such as channel 6. This means that the current value is the same as the previous value. Nothing's changed. So it was 50 in Q1 and it's 50 in Q2. Then we've got green here, such as channel 4. This means that the current value is less than what was in the previous queue. So in Q1, we went from full to 50 in Q2. So it's come down. Next, we're looking here at the blue, such as channel 5, which means that the current value is greater than the previous queue. So we went up from 0 to 50. And then finally, we've got red, such as channel 7, which means that the current value has been overridden by you, and it's currently in what we call manual mode. If we come up here, we'll also see a little marker that says manual mode. This is just kind of an alert to say, hey, you've made changes. Even if you don't see it on your screen, you've made changes, and you might want to record before you move on. You'll also notice that we are currently in queue only mode. Okay, so I'm going to press record, enter. So we want to update Q2 with our little change, channel 7. And you'll say, whoa. Are you sure you want to do that? So we want to make sure that we are overriding a queue rather than creating a new queue. So just kind of a warning. You can turn that off if it's annoying to you, but usually it's kind of a lifesaver. So you see here this little red, please confirm. So are you sure you want to override that? And we do. So we're going to press enter to commit. You'll also notice now, just like we learned a second ago, that that number is blue, meaning it came from 0 to 50. Okay, finally, sometimes you want to make a change to multiple queues, or perhaps a queue different than the one that you're currently in live. To do this, we're going to use the update command. The update command will take your adjustments and apply them to specified queue or queues even. It's a little bit more surgical and precise than record. So let's do channel 2 at 50. We are currently in Q2, and I know that right here, but I want to apply it to Q1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press update Q1, and then I'm going to press enter. And you can see that it's saying these are the things that I'm going to update. So channel 2, but I'm saying that I'm going to update it into Q1. So I'm going to press enter. And now you'll see that the number is still red. That's because I still want it manually changed because we were editing Q1, but we're still in Q2. So what I'm going to do now is press channel 2 at full. So we're going to go 2 at full, enter. And you know what? I actually like that for both queues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press U for update, Q for Q, 1, T for through, 2, and enter. Now this is going to update both Q1 and Q2. But it's only taking channel 2 because that's the only one that's manual mode. And you can see that right here, that's the only channel that's going to be updated. I'm going to press enter. And now you'll see that channel 2 switched over to purple, meaning there's no change between the previous queue and the current queue, which means Q1 has channel 2 at full and Q2 has channel 2 at full. Record and update are just two ways to do the same thing. So I would tell you this. Use record when you need to create a new look. Use update when you need to alter multiple looks. Use record when you need to write over an existing look. Use update when you need to make small adjustments. Or honestly, you can do whatever you want. They both work. Both knowing the difference between the two of them can make you a much more efficient lighting designer. So practice and figure out what works for you.